What is happening, all you minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today for an advanced look at some trade paperbacks coming at you from Marvel Comics on December 16th. So, stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. Before we get started, a huge thank you to David Gabriel and the folks at Marvel for sending us advance copies of these trade paperbacks. All of these trade paperbacks are due out in the direct market on Wednesday, December 16th, and then a couple of weeks later in the book market. And of course, the direct market being places like cheapgraphicnovels.com, InStockTrades.com, Tales of Wonder, and your local comic book shop. And the book market, of course, being Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and places like that. Now, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to kick this off with Marvel's X. Here we have Marvel's X. This is a new entry in the Universe X, Earth X series. And actually, this serves as a prequel to that era. And let's talk a little bit about it. I'm going to try to always stay away from spoilers in case you haven't read that series, Earth X or Universe X, or in case you haven't read this yet. Let's go ahead and get this open, and we'll look at all the spines together like I normally do. Here's an advertisement for Earth X. They have come out in complete collections. I know there's a couple of Omnis available, but not everybody's an Omni buyer. So, this serves as a prequel, and it introduces us to this character named David. And David lives at home with his parents and his grandma and his sister. Now, without giving spoilers away why we have Earth X and Universe X years later, let's see. Something is going on with the world, and people are getting sick, and these people are mutating. Let's just say that. And he loses his entire family. He loses his grandma, his parents, and his sister. Now, whether they die or not, or whether something happens to them, whether they come back, I will leave you to find out. But David is alone. So he goes after the one thing that he knows, and that is the hero he looks up to, Captain America. And Captain America is in New York. Now, keep in mind, the entire world is going through what his entire family just went through. So everybody's getting sick, and people are mutating. I don't want to say zombies, but if you've not read Earth X or Universe X, I will leave you to find out what exactly is going on. I don't want to downplay it and say it's just zombie outbreaks, because it's a lot more than that if you've not read it. Now, probably something you can tell here, the artwork is very similar to Jean-Paul Leon, who did the artwork in the original Earth X and Universe X. The covers are supplied by Alex Ross, each of the covers, and he's also the co-plotter on this. Jim Kruger returns as the plotter, and the artwork in here is done by Wellbee. W-E-L-L-B-E-E. I don't know if that's their real name or their penciler name, but it's a really cool name, and it is very similar to that of Jean-Paul Leon. Man, I know he got sick, Jean-Paul Leon did, and that's why it took him a long time to do that Batman book with Kurt Busiek, and I'm sure why he couldn't come back and do this, because I'm sure he wanted to because he loves this universe. It is the story of David and how he tries to get help from these superheroes and what is happening in their lives. You have a bunch of cameos in here from characters that appear in Earth X, and you start seeing their transformation, why they look the way they do in Earth X. You have a bunch of superheroes and villains that show up in here that were not featured in Earth X for a reason, or Universe X rather. And believe it or not, the character of David does have important ties to a certain character in the Earth X and Universe X universe. And if you're not familiar with that universe, it is a possible future. It's an alternate reality where, well, like I said, the world's population is downsized and we have a bunch of heroes looking a lot different. Very much like Kingdom Come, but not really. Now, let's look in the back here for some extras. Of course, I'm censoring that final page. On the right-hand side, you see the variant cover of issue 1 by Wellbee, and a bunch of variant covers of the different issues. Now, the book has 160 pages, does collect all 6 issues of the Marvel X series, and retails for $17.99. So here's the behind the scenes. Like I said, Alex Ross plays a big part in this, doing character designs and also co-plotting some of this stuff. Now, I can't show every sketch because it does spoil some things, and I don't want to spoil that for anybody that has not read this, so we're just going to flip a little through here. I just actually saw a couple of spoilers with some names, so let's just call it a day. There is a lot of sketches back here, as Alex Ross always likes to include. One of the things I was going to say is that I'm really surprised they didn't release this as an oversized hardcover immediately to line up right up against those Omnis that came out within the last couple of years. But who knows? You know, maybe if this sells well, we'll get an oversized hardcover. Yes, sir. John Walker is getting his own trade paperback. What days we are living in, I swear. This is the good days to be in collected editions. This is U.S. Agent, The Good Fight. So that's a cover by MC Wyman, if I'm not mistaken. That's the cover to issue 1 of the limited series. So this is U.S. Agent. And who is U.S. Agent? Well, here's a quick little forward by Ralph Macchio. And then it collects issue 333, where John Walker, spoilers, in case you don't want to know who John Walker is. Okay, we're back. Takes the place of Captain America for a while. Captain America retires out of the costume, never mind. This will all be collected in the upcoming Epic Collection coming out next year called The Captain, in case you don't have it. Or there is a trade paperback called The Captain already, but it will be an official Epic next year. And now the character of John Walker was introduced in issue 323, and here he is as the Super Patriot, but he takes on the role of Captain America. Now it only collects issue 333, and then he has a different way of being Captain America. He's a lot more violent than Steve Rogers, and the government notices that. So they actually explain what happens, and I love these. Okay, so let's talk about what this collects first. That was issue 333 in whole. And then it has materials from Captain America 358 through 362, and then 380 through 382, as well as Avengers West Coast number 100. Then it collects the U.S. Agent 1993 4-issue miniseries and the 2001 3-issue miniseries. So this is after he was Captain America, after the government said, man, you're a lot more violent than we need Captain America to be. But you can use this costume that Steve Rogers used during his time as the Captain. And you can work for us, and you can be called U.S. Agent. Now, there's some mind wipes. There's a lot of betrayal between the government and him. Eventually, they force they force the Avengers West Coast to take him in and become a full-time member. But this storyline right here, Mark Gruenwald, I swear, his run on Captain America is freaking stellar. And I always say this on my channel, that when people think of Mark Gruenwald, sadly, they always think of Cap Wolf. And they're like, oh, that goofy stuff from the 90s where Captain America became a werewolf. Yeah, no thanks. There was so much solid stories before them, such as the Captain. The Scourge storyline here. The Scourge don't want to spoil it, these characters that were going behind the scenes and killing some of Captain America's villains. And it was pretty much just Mark Gruenwald trying to get rid of some lame supervillains. But he introduced the concept of the Scourge. Was the Scourge one person? And did we ever find out the identity of the Scourge? And I hope you all pick this up and get really hooked on that idea, because I thought it was such a cool idea growing up. I always wanted to know who the Scourge was, and why he was going around killing people, why he or she, rather, was going around killing these supervillains. And here we are. This all leads into the U.S. Agent miniseries by Mark Gruenwald, and this is MC Wyman, who had done a bunch of Transformer comics for Marvel UK. And again, it's the story of the Scourge. And I will let you find out how that plays out, but this has amazing artwork. I've always been a fan of Wyman. Now, let's look back here to look at the Jerry Ordway series. So, in 2001, Jerry Ordway and Carl Kessel worked on a new U.S. Agent series. So, this is his newer costume. We're only missing his second costume, his ForceWorks costume. And all of that stuff has been collected in a big fat trade paperback just called, what was it called? Was it Avengers Iron Man ForceWorks? And also in the pages of Avengers The Crossing. But this is what the Jerry Ordway series look like. You can tell, the colors are a little bit different. They're early odd colors, computer separated colors compared to the colors here. Now, this particular book has 248 pages and retails for $29.99. Let's see if there's anything extra in the back. So we have some house ads back here. And then the Legacy of Captain America trade paperback cover. There's John Walker, original pages by Mark Bright. And the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. And here's this costume I was talking about from Force Works, when he played the role of Captain America, when he came back as U.S. Agent, and then his other U.S. Agent costume. You know, John Walker's been around a while, and he's still a part of Captain America's life to this day. And this is probably a good time to release this, because I know, or at least I think, he's going to play a role in the upcoming Winter Soldier Falcon TV show. Here is Spider-Woman. This is Bad Blood. Here's what the spine looks like, and I like to see that volume 1. Now, I don't know if this is a standalone series or a ongoing series. The book retails for $15.99. Let's go ahead and start looking inside of this book and talk about it. This collects all 5 issues of the miniseries, or the first 5 issues of the ongoing series. I really don't know. I haven't seen it solicited since then. So, this is the series that came out in 2020. It is written by Carla Pacheco. I don't know if there's any relation between her and Carlos Pacheco, but it'd be really cool. I love when families come together and work on books. Now, the artwork, for the most part, is done by Pere Perez. And there is a couple of other artists that do some of the artwork in here, and one in particular that I was just blown away by, and I'm going to definitely point that out. As you can tell, I'm sure, Jessica Drew has a new costume, so it's not the traditional Spider-Woman costume that everybody's used to. And this is a character I've always been a big fan of. I've loved Jessica Drew since she had her original series, this is the artist right here. So this is a flashback here, drawn by Paulo Siqueira, and damn, this artwork is freaking gorgeous. It reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Chung meets Steve McNiven. I'm at a loss for words. Just I don't think I've heard of this guy. This guy's artwork is freaking stellar. Yes, like this. This reminds me of a Jimmy Chung picture, and just I don't know. He is a damn good artist. I don't know who this is, but I'm definitely gonna start checking out what else he has done. So this is a backup story at the end of issue 1 where it sets up the new costume. And what is the story about, though? Because as I was saying before I was caught off guard by that beautiful artwork, I've always been a big fan of Jessica Drew. Since her days as Spider-Woman, the horrible things that ended up happening to her through the pages of Avengers, when Chris Claremont brought her back out of obscurity for a while in her time in Madripoor. And, you know, even when in New Avengers, where for some reason she had her powers back. Whatever. And then some of her miniseries have had ups and downs. You know, I mean, a lot has changed for her, too. She's a mom now, and she's still a kick-ass spy. As a matter of fact, she's kind of a bodyguard towards the beginning here. And so this, I had to read this. I had to read this to see where Jessica is these days. And I had a lot of fun with this, because this ties a lot into her origin with Wendigo, and also it has ties to her powers. So during this whole thing, she gets sick, something's going on, and then there is a family reunion of sorts that happens through these pages. Like I said, it ties back into the story of Wendigo and how she got her powers. And the artwork is really good. It was a pretty fast read for the first 5 issues, but I had a lot of fun reading it. And I know these aren't reviews of books, but I did want nobody that's a fan of Jessica Drew to miss this, because as a longtime fan, I really enjoyed this. And I'm not really familiar with Carla Pacheco's work other than the Amazing Spider-Man 2099 story that she did, and I think she did a couple of things in the pages of Fearless. But this is the main thing that I've read by her, and it was really good. Now let's look at the back, because they do something pretty unique in the back. Okay, so in the back here is collected the Spider-Woman 100 little spotlights. Yeah, issue 100, different prices, and then sometimes different artists on the right-hand side, just telling a little bit of her life in different eras. And I thought that was cool, that they each come with their own cover. We're not going to look through all of them, but then we have some variants back here. And kicking it off with Peach Momoko's variant, and all these variants up here. Jeffrey Scott Campbell, wish these were full page. Carmine Infantino, that's probably the classic variant, or the hidden gem variant, when they go back and recolor original pieces of artwork. That Bruce Timm is freaking gorgeous. Glad that got a full page. and Jenny Frison. Wow. This book has 144 pages, retails for $15.99. And honestly, I really enjoyed this, so I would not miss this. That is Cute by Scotty Young. And then Alex Ross back here. And Stanley. I'm surprised these two didn't get full pages. Oh yeah, you know what time it is. It is spine watching time. Makes it sound creepy. How about we're just looking at the spines? Y'all hit that like button while we're looking at these spines. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Let's keep going. Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Nope. So used to saying that. Doctor Strange, Surgeon Supreme. Now, that cover and title is kind of a spoiler. Maybe. So, if you don't care about spoilers, I am going to talk just a little bit about what the premise is of this. If you don't want to hear any spoilers at all, even though I'm just talking a little bit about the premise of this, by all means go to the description of the video, and there I always add the timestamps to let you know when I'm starting to talk about a collected edition. So you can skip this. For those of you that don't care, really quick, let's talk about this book. So this is written by Mark Waid. It is drawn by Kev Walker, two of my favorite creators. And pretty much the premise is simple. Doctor Strange has the use of his hands back. That's a big deal. That's why I warn people about spoilers. That's a huge deal. So now he can be a Sorcerer Supreme and a surgeon. And he's made a deal. He said, I will not use magic during my surgeries, because he knows there's always a price to pay when magic is used. And of course, one of his colleagues wants to use magic, and that turns into things. We have the appearance of the Wreckers. We have the appearance of Dr. Druid. Love that guy during Roger Stern's Avengers run, even though, he got done dirty. But the main selling point to me, I love Mark Waid, and sadly, this is the last of his run, because this 6 issues wraps up his entire run on Doctor Strange. There wasn't any more after this. But the main selling point to me is Kev Walker. This guy's art I have been following since Marvel's... He worked on, with Fred Van Lente on Marvel's Zombies 3 and 4. And Thunderbolts is where I saw him blow up. He was in Avengers Arena, Avengers Undercover. He did a couple of fill-in issues here and there, but I was like, this guy needs to be given a title. He is freaking good. And he brings in the creepy factor to this, because there are a lot of creepy elements in this story, and that's what I appreciate about his art. It reminds me a lot of BPRD stuff. Like, he's a guy that I could see in BPRD. I think he's from the UK, if I'm not mistaken. That's where he first got his start in the 2000 AD books. But I love his artwork, and it fits perfectly with the story. Like I mentioned, sadly, this is the last of the Doctor Strange story by Mark Waid before he moved on and doing other things. But the main thing I wanted to point out for people that are not familiar with this artist is Kev Walker's art. And I realize it's not for everybody, right? Some people may think it's too cartoony, but then again, Chris Bacalo's artwork may be too cartoony for some people. He did the art for Doctor Strange during Jason Aaron's run. But to me, this is perfect. I love it. Now, this book has 144 pages, collects the first 6 issues and only issues of Doctor Strange, Surgeon Supreme, and then retails for $17.99. Let's look in the back here for some extras. Definitely censoring that final page of this story arc, but here are some unused covers and more unused covers and some variants over here on the right-hand side. Kev Walker, that's an awesome freaking variant. They had to get Frank Miller in there with that hidden gem, though. Pretty cool. Last, but certainly not least, is the new printing of Captain America Winter Soldier, the complete collection. And I want to say, I don't know if this is a new printing, because I remember, or I think that these were previously collected as Ultimate Collections, if I'm not mistaken. And now they're called Complete Collections. So this is Captain America, Winter Soldier, not to be confused with the Winter Soldier Complete Collection that I did an overview of a couple of months ago. This is what kicks off the storyline, and that Winter Soldier Complete Collection ends the Ed Brubaker run. Let's see, this is the Red Menace Ultimate Collection. Okay, that's what I thought they were called, but I could be wrong. And that's where the story leads into, the Red Menace. So this is all written by Ed Brubaker. And you have artwork here by Steve Epting. You have Mike Perkins, you have John Paul Leon, and you have Michael Lark do a lot of the artwork in here. This is where I think Steve Epting just took it to a complete new level of storytelling. And if you've not read Captain America by Ed Brubaker, you are in for a treat. If you're skipping on the omnibus that are being reprinted early next year, or at least the first one is, then this is the way to go, because this is what the Civil War and Winter Soldier were loosely based on, the movies. This is where it goes. Now, there was something that they did at the very beginning of this story arc that I did not agree with, that I was it really pissed me off, and that's getting rid of a certain character. But then by issue 4 and 5, I was hooked. I was like, this might be one of the best runs on Captain America, if not the best run. And I always speak highly of Captain America by Mark Waid, or Captain America by Mark Grunwald, the J.M. DeMatteis. There's been a lot of runs on Captain America that have had ups and downs, but this one definitely, at least in the top 3 Captain America runs. And that's something I really have to think about, who my favorite Captain America, or what my favorite Captain America run is. Because he's had some really good writers in them. But anyway, this is action-packed, it's freaking espionage, it's everything you want in a comic book. And it takes it to a completely different level with Ed Brubaker coming into it, right? This is Ed Brubaker, the guy that gave us Fatale, the guy that gave us Criminal, Scene of the Crime, The Fade Out. This is amazing. I love it. And he also did Velvet. Velvet is, you see a lot of elements in Velvet that you do here. And he actually worked with Steve Epting in Velvet. But this brings in a lot of his villains and a lot of characters you hadn't seen in a while. But you really don't have to have known much about Captain America to enjoy this run. And damn it, I just realized that I'm doing a kind of review of this instead of an overview. So let's go back to the overview. This book has 304 pages and retails for $29.99. Contains issues 1 through 9 and then 11 through 14. Why doesn't it include issue 10? Because issue 10 was part of the House of M storyline. It is included in the omnibus, but really it adds nothing to the story because you're talking about an alternate reality, and this is really all you need. As far as the extras in the back, of course censoring that final page because that's a big spoiler, but there's promotional art. They're actually using that as one of the covers for the new omnibus printing. The variant cover to issue number 6, Winter Soldier concept sketches, and then the rough sketches for the covers by Steve Epting. And then this is a variant cover by Joe Jusko. And that, as they say, is that. Now, when these books come out, don't forget to check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Beginning Thanksgiving morning, visit their bargain bin for Black Friday deals up to 90% off cover price. New items will be added throughout the day and the rest of the holiday season. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content and page count of each of these trades. Let me know in those comments down below which ones you're picking up, which ones you hope they collect into an oversized hardcover or an omnibus for that matter, and which ones you've read in single issues if you're still reading single issues and you want to get the collected edition. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Redbubble and on Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel. More importantly, please everybody stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.